back to my channel. I am joined today by the extremely handsome and debonair Josh Wood. Josh Wood, if you don't know, of course you know, but Josh Wood is the, let's just call you the colour man. Why don't you have cards up? By the way, I've just moved all my board around and it was a bit naked here, so we stuck those up. This should say Josh Wood, the colour man. I might make that up for you, is that all right?
Of course.
Now, Josh has been in the industry for?
Nearly 30 years. Standing up for 30 years.
Oh, how should I have to...
Don't look, no, it's the varicose veins.
Oh! And so... And you've done things before. I'm trying to be mysterious. Anyway.
Setting me up well.
Yeah, I'm not doing very well. Also, I still have my cold. Regular viewers, it's still here, hanging around like an annoying boyfriend. There's something very exciting coming from Josh, which we will get into in a minute. But could you, and we have like a whole thing for you, because I took to Twitter. I took to Twitter and said, if you could ask one of the top hair gods in the world anything, what would you ask? You did not disappoint, Twitter. You should wait. You did not disappoint.
I'm dreading it.
No, it's all good. It's very entertaining. So Josh, tell us about yourself in the way that you would, if we were on This Is Your Life, what would the first 5 minutes of This Is Your Life say?
Well, I grew up in Barnsley, Yorkshire. That was not the best start in life, let me tell you.
Warrington.
There you go. And I wasn't intending to be in the hair industry at all. I went to art college to do a foundation course and got a job in a salon locally, sweeping hair up on a Saturday, £7.50 a day. And
people don't believe me when I say I used to earn 25 quid a week.
I know. Well, didn't we all? And then I got this job and I really thought, I felt quite comfortable in that salon environment. It kind of fitted me and I fitted it. I got on a youth training scheme.
I did a YTS! It's a YTS. Google it, millennials.
Yeah, this is quite a while ago. And I did a year on the YTS scheme.
In the hairdressers? In
the hairdressers locally, in Barnsley. And at the end of the year, they sat me down and said, we don't think hairdressing's for you.
Like the person who didn't sign the Beatles. Big mistake. Huge.
So at that, I took that little piece of that nugget of career advice and thought, get used to, and got a job at Vidal Sassoon. So I travelled, I went to live in Leeds, and there was the moment where I kind of discovered hair colour. I was working with a session hairdresser, like guys that work on editorial, and I was blow drying for him, and he said, have you ever thought about doing colour? And I was like, well, I have, and I really like it, and the training that I've done in it, I think I'm pretty good at it. And I said, why?
How old are you at this point?
Probably about 19. And he said, you should really consider it. So I said, why? He said, you're really crap at blow drying. So with that, I became a hair colorist.
So you excelled. You were like, well, I might be crap at blow drying, but I'm going to show you what I can do with colour. Absolutely.
And then that was it. Since then, all I've done is colour. I can't blow dry. You wouldn't want me cutting in any shape or form. So it's kind of been a life dedicated to hair colour.
Wow. Wow. And then how did you get to London?
I was still working at Vidal Sassoon and they offered me a job in Sloane Street. So I came to Sloane Street and I hated it. Like the first day somebody said to me, Mrs. Smith's finished, can you get her driver? And I was like, screwdriver? Well, I've never heard of a driver coming from a council flat in Barnsley. And then I convinced them to let me go back to the north, so I went to work in Manchester at Vidal Sassoon. And of course, the day that I pushed the door open in the Manchester salon, I wanted to be back in London. So I came back to London, and then subsequently, about 18 months later, I went to work in New York.
How was that? Very blonde?
Yeah, no, it was that moment, like the 90s, it wasn't that blonde. It was a bit kind of still experimental, and people were trying to do, be individual. I learned a lot there. I learned a lot that just the way that we colour hair in the UK isn't the only way that people want to look. And then I came back to London, and it was at that point that I thought the salon scene was really a bit boring.
Yeah.
And that's when I opened my first salon in 1999.
Wow.
So remortgaged the flat and got a little space in Chelsea, just off the King's Road, and I opened Real Hair. And I was there for 10 years, and then felt slightly uncomfortable again, that the industry needed something fresh and new. So I sold that business, and that's when I opened my atelier in Notting Hill.
Wow. God, that's a similar career path to me, in terms of moving to London, moving back again, changing your mind, coming back again, doing things a bit differently. Okay, so you're in the atelier.
Yeah.
So Josh basically does the hair of anyone who has any kind of colour, pretty much worldwide, who is extremely famous. And as my previous guests, like Hannah and Gillian, we would never ask and he would never say. But you've touched a lot of well-known heads, haven't you, sir? I've touched a lot of people that are known for looking good. Oh, that's a nice way of putting it. That's a very good way of putting it. I know one of my friends who does something similar says, I touch a lot of faces whose faces pay the bills, or something like that. Something like that. How did you go? If you haven't been to the atelier, by the way, as usual, everything will be listed below. But the atelier is like, it's like a crack den if you're into, that's a compliment by the way, if you're into hair, because you go in and there's like a beauty area and reception, and all the staff are not only really, really nice, but also quite hot. I mean, I choose them. That's one of the criteria. But they're also sweet as well. I always say, you go into any top hairdresser, there'll be someone that you think, you don't get that in your atelier. Everyone's genuinely
most
sweet.
Of the people that have been there have worked with me a long time. Like,
that says a lot about you.
I've got people that have worked with me for 25 years, 23 years. But also as well, I'm passionate about discovering new talent and giving people the kind of opportunity and chance that I was going to. There's a young guy that's just joined me that's from Barnsley. So I've kind of gone full circle. Are you like his hero? You must be. No, not really. I think a guy from Barnsley, come on. He's on a very different journey than I was on, as they are these days, aren't they? Yeah. I don't know, I think you can feel talent in people, especially in hair. It's a craft that you see and you feel, and making people feel better and look better. It's such a confidence both ways. Totally, and it's still, I think, massively underrated as a career path. Yeah, I agree. I'm doing the British Beauty Council with Millie Kendall, and I'll put details of that below, but we were saying how the representative there for the hair industry is basically saying how if you go to a parents' evening or a careers evening, they'll go, well, if she's not good at that, she can always consider hairdressing, as if there's no skill involved. And yet, speak to anyone, pretty much anyone who goes to a hairdresser, you don't want someone who's not skilled touching your head. I'm still friendly with two people that I started work with on the YTS scheme in Yorkshire. One's in Wakefield and one's in Huddersfield. And a while ago, the Times newspaper asked to do an interview with me, and they were like, both of these guys that I started work with ended up being mobile hairdressers going to people's homes. It's very fashionable up north. And one of them, they asked to talk to one of these guys, my mate Paul, and they said to him, what did you know it, could you see it was different, and was it? And he was like, no, we were all the same. He said, well, we've all ended up in the same situation. The journalist said, well, what do you mean? He said, well, we're all mobile hairdressers, just he's a mobile hairdresser by plane. Literally. Yeah, not the shabbiest of jobs. So we won't talk about it, but are you in LA per chance in February? Might you be Oscar hitting? Well, I've been working on with a couple of actresses, but they'll be here before I have to go there. And because your colour, you can tweak before. Okay. Yeah, I never get the da-da finish, the reveal. I'm always the one in the back, kind of with the foil and the kind of washing the bowls. It's never the leather trousers, frilly shirt and the ta-da finish for me. Okay, so talk to me. Now, I've only just seen this, and I was literally like, oh, if ever an industry needed this and this system, and it's genius. I'm not blowing smoke up your ass, it's not my style, but it is genius. If you colour your hair in any way, shape or form, you need to sit up and pay attention right now. So, talk to us about this. Joshwood colour system. So a few years ago, I developed a tool that could kind of temporarily blend out grey hair. I mean, I think it's important for me to say I quite like grey hair. And I don't. I know you don't. And you I do. But I'm also known for turning people grey. Yeah, no, so if I wanted to go grey, I'd come to you. actresses that want to go grey, but actually if you commit to the fact that you don't want to be grey, I believe you should never see another grey ever again. Not that like 1-2 weeks you've had your hair coloured and you feel amazing, and then week 3, 4 and 5 you feel crap.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got a client that said to me, she works in the City of London, she's really tall, and she said week 1 and 2 she said I'm in ballet flats. She said by the time it's week 5 I'm into 11 centimetre Christian Louboutin. She said nobody's looking down on my roots.
See, roots, that's why I went blonder.
Yes.
The maintenance on my mum's really dark. I've got my mum's really dark hair.
But you were really dark.
Really dark, and then what happened was I got greyer and greyer, and then got darker and darker, and I didn't want to be that dark because when I was a kid I was blonde.
Yeah.
You know that I remember I'd said 2 ages ago I'd read something that said as you get older you should revert to the colour you were when you were a child if you want to look more natural. Now I don't know how much of that you believe, but I suddenly went, well, I was blonde. Why would I go darker and darker? And my husband always says you should let yourself go grey, and I'm like, your second wife can go grey. So I will.
Know the industry that you're in.
I will, and if I do it, I will do it properly and just go,
yeah,
I'm grey and you'll be doing it. But I'm not ready yet.
Yeah.
I'm just not ready yet. And my mum colours her hair and she's 70. She will shoot me if she knows I've said that on camera, but she never watched my video, so it's fine. But she has a full head of colour every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Brown with like brunette tinting, and so I'm not ready. So for women like me who aren't ready but have roots as a real issue,
here we are.
Here we are.
I mean, I guess 30 years nearly of experience of listening to people, of their challenges of trying to cover grey, hide grey, blend it in, make it look natural, not have a regrowth that needs to. I mean, I've got people that come every 10 days.
Yeah, I could if I wanted to.
If they're in the public eye and they're going to be judged for having a grey hair, then get rid of it.
Yeah.
But it was really fascinating because we did a lot of focus groups to really kind of understand the landscape of the hair colour market, and it was evident actually I think quite often when you go into salon as well, most people don't know what hair colour they are.
Yeah.
They certainly don't know what percentage of grey that they are, and they don't know what's going to suit them.
Yeah.
So
all of the above.
It suddenly dawned on me that I think with my level of experience, I mean, probably over the years I've seen millions of heads.
Yeah.
And having the fortune that I work in the fashion industry a bit, and I work on celebrities a bit, like all of that, somehow I knew I wanted to be able to share that information to a much wider audience than can come and sit in my salon in Notting Hill. And it was interesting because I guess the people I see in Notting Hill can afford to come and have their hair done quite often. But when we were doing the focus groups, we're in the north of England, we were in Scotland and some in the south, the feeling was exactly the same.
Yeah.
Whether you're spending several £100 or several pounds, if your hair doesn't look right, if your hair colour doesn't look right, it doesn't feel like you.
Totally, 100%.
So I then wanted to really broaden that conversation and almost broaden it beyond the product that I could make. So make an informational, educational, digital offer that somebody could, wherever they were in the world, they could access a consultation with me. So that was the starting point. And then the product almost came by talking to more and more women and understanding what the challenges were on a daily basis.
Fading.
Yeah. And the fact that most people knew what their problem was, but they had nowhere to go to find a solution.
It is astounding if you think about it that it hasn't been done before. I mean, what you've done, because I've seen Josh has done an online tool, which again I'll link below, but it's astounding that it's never been done before. And similar to Trini, who was on here recently, similar to being able to go online and going, well, I think that's my hair colour, this is what my problem is, and then there's just basically, this is what you should use. You don't have to go and stand in the, what do hairdressers call the aisle in the chemist or the supermarket, where it's just all dyes and you just see people like this.
It's called the Isle of Death.
The Isle of Death.
There's nowhere to go from there.
Because you see people all the time just standing there going, I don't know which one to pick up, there's so much choice, I don't know where I'm going. Let me show you how easy this is going to make it for you. What I also love about you, and I have to say this from my point of view, is there is zero judgment from you about women who don't want to go grey yet.
No, I mean,
there are so many, and there'll be comments below, people can't help themselves, oh, you should embrace the grey, aging's a privilege. I'm like, yeah, I say that too, but I don't want to be grey yet. I've been grey since I was 19.
I love grey.
Yeah, but you look amazing.
Yeah, but also as well, I perceive grey as not letting yourself go.
Yeah.
Like, I think you can colour your hair grey.
Yeah.
So, and even if you are grey, you're still going to have to colour. It's just not colouring brown or blonde. It's just a different colour.
Totally.
But I mean, the majority of people are colouring their hair. 80% of colours are applied to cover grey hair.
Yeah. You know Nora Ephron's line?
Yeah.
Nora Ephron said, it's in the end of one of her books, and she was so funny, but one of her favourite lines is, the only difference between my generation and my grandmother's generation is hair dye and polo neck sweaters. And I was like, I'm on board with you, Nora. So show us, first, why don't we start with the colour?
Yeah.
Show us the colour. Now, talk about a system that's easy to use. Why don't you do the price?
Well, let's do this one, because I think that's more your colour.
Oh, okay. Well, for me, what would I do? Because that's top and I've got dark underneath.
Well, we deal with that.
Okay.
I mean, look, I also really believe as a professional, there are just some things you can't do at home.
Totally.
You know, I would never advocate balayage or highlighting or multi-tone. But if you've got a root that needs retouching, even if you were just going to do your parting and your hairline, you can help blend it in.
Yes.
A lot of the feedback was, we don't know what colour we are, we've no idea. We look at these boxes of colour and they've got models on that are like this with different coloured wigs on. So one of the things I did was make this big colour swatch that you could even just go like, yeah, that's more or less me.
It'll do. That's what I would say. It'll do. It's in the neighbourhood.
And then some women were saying, as though it's not embarrassing enough, we're in the Isle of Death. We're there lurking with our Mac on so nobody recognises us.
Oh, God.
And then what we have to do is get our glasses out so we can read. So look, big numbers, big lettering.
Seriously, Mum, look. She go, what's this now?
So permanent hair colour that will only really work on grey hair.
That's amazing.
Can't make you blonder.
Yeah.
I don't believe you really could judge how blonde you should go.
Yeah.
It's designed to cover grey 100%.
Yeah.
And make you a little bit darker if you wanted to go darker.
Woo.
And no ammonia.
No ammonia.
No PPD.
That's major.
Don't ask me to try and tell you what PPD is.
No, I'll list it below.
Yeah. And hydrolyzed quinoa protein to be able to help to reproteinise the hair during the colour process.
And you've thought of everything. So you have proper hairdresser gloves, barrier creams. Look at this. Now this is when you know, I use this A, here's B, it's like an IKEA kit. I love it. Stain removing wipes, deep conditioning treatments, and full instructions.
But what I perceive will be the real tool to support and help women get the best colour is the
online tool.
Well, the consultation that I've developed that will be bespoke to you. It doesn't take very long, but also embedded in here are tips and tricks. I've also done a thing like a grey scale to try and help you understand. Like, I've got women that aren't coloured and what percentage of grey they are. There's little videos on that. There's videos on, like, people were saying, but it never covers the hairline. I did want to say it's probably because you haven't got it on properly, but I've showed little ways of, you know, trying to help people achieve the colour that they've always been trying to achieve. And I mean, I'm a great believer that whatever colour you are, condition is king. Yeah. You know, because you can have a really beautiful colour, but if it looks fried, it's not a good colour.
Yeah, there's lots of questions on Twitter about fried hair. So you've done your colour and you just want to do maintenance, so shampoos and...
Very simple shampoos and conditioners, separated out into formulations for blondes and brunettes. I'm a big believer that ingredient stories should fit the colour of your... It's a bit like skin tone. You wouldn't use certain products on a very pale skin tone as you would use on a more colourful skin tone. It's exactly the same for hair. So the formulations for the care range is split into blondes and then split into hair types of fine and thin and thick and frizzy. So it's really, really simple.
Leaving feeling clean, soft and gleamingly fresh for blonde hair prone to frizz. Pause for effect. Wow, okay, so there's shampoo and... Is it shampoo and conditioner?
Shampoo and conditioner. There's also a mask.
And the mask I've heard about, so tell me about the mask.
It's called the Everything Mask. It's called the Everything Mask because it's got everything.
I'm going to do lots of cutaways for you, by the way, people, but just have a look so you can see now.
I'm a great believer that if you have gone to the time expense and the financial expense of colouring your hair, you've got to treat it well.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the way that I've always thought about hair colour is a little bit like skincare. And I mean, we know in the last 20 years, skincare has revolutionised itself, and I think it's about time we had a different conversation about the way people care.
Totally, and
their hair.
And also, like I was saying earlier, not to be either embarrassed that you want to take care of your hair, or embarrassed that you want to go grey, or if you are going to go grey, go full silver fox. Absolutely. However you want to do it.
Bleach it, go platinum.
Oh, don't tempt me now. Right, so talk to me about these, because these are all so different. So we've got blending brushes, we've got dry shampoo, root markers, root smudgers. Like, you've gone the whole hog. There is like nothing you haven't thought of.
So in theory, there are different, I mean, depending on how grey you are will be the marker for how often you're going to colour your hair. I mean, as I said before, I've got people that kind of colour their hair every week, but generally most people are colouring their hair every 4 to 6 weeks. But that doesn't mean there's going to be a period in that 4 to 6 weeks where there's going to be grey hair showing. So I've redeveloped the blending wand. It's now the blending brush. So it's a wet to dry application. Pump. Paint away any greys that you may see, and that has to be dried into the hair to seal onto the grey hair. Then a lot of the feedback.
You're such a hairdresser.
Straight on the jeans.
He literally just wiped it, and I was going to get him wipes, and he literally just wiped his hand on his jeans. I love it.
Like, got time to stop, Carol.
No, you're like a makeup artist who goes.
So a lot of the feedback that I got about the blending brushes, I really love it. It really works. But if I'm quite grey, I'm there half an hour trying to get rid of it. So if you've got like a very strong parting and a very strong regrowth, here comes the root smudger.
Oh, stop yourself.
So it's exactly the same.
This would be me for here when this goes a bit grey,
so
but the rest
it's
is all
exactly
right.
the same product that's in the brush, but you just get
oh my god,
a much more dense.
What colour is that?
That's brown.
Brown.
Yeah, but there's I mean, it's important to say this as well. The truth is, the wet applications work much better on dark hair than on blonde hair.
Makes sense.
Because blonde wet applications end up a bit sludgy or grey.
So I'd go dry. I'd go.
So you go more for the.
Mum would go wet.
Yes.
Got it. Oh my god, so exciting. Dry shampoo.
Tinted dry shampoo.
I know. Oh my god.
So this is a quick root fix that also comes in darker tones.
Look! Okay, no, wait. We're going to zoom in on Josh's hand. Bloody hell. Spray that again. And now show the people.
And it dries into the hair, will soak up any grease, and also just help to blend in those roots a little bit.
Wow.
Root marker. There's a blonde one of these as well, which would be for you. So this is a story that comes directly.
It's like literally like a chubby stick,
It's a story that comes directly from a client. So she was like, I'm rushing in the morning, school run.
Obviously.
I've not had time to do my hair. I'm in the car, I put my glasses up, I look in the rear view mirror, and I see those ones that are poking at me like that. So I was like, okay, here comes the root marker.
Wow.
In your handbag, and literally you can just help to blend out, not your colour of course, but there is one in blonde, but you can just blend out any greys.
So that would be literally for me if I'm just like, there's like the
like you were going to a meeting and you think, I just don't want that one, there's ones there.
Oh my
and then
God.
in here also,
oh wait, other end.
Oh, you've done the other end, is a little brush.
Oh wow, like a mascara.
Yeah, so you can blend, and God forbid you get a grey eyebrow.
I was going to say something really bad then about lady gardens.
No, I'm not going there.
No, you don't have to, I just did. Well, say nothing, girls, but you know what I mean. Right, okay, so we've done that. Now, these are what I'm really excited about, because this, I always go into my hairdresser. Now, you'll feel his pain, right? Poor man has had to put up with me and my mood swings in terms of, I want to be dark, I want to be blonde, blah, blah, blah. We've now agreed that he's never allowed to cut it more than ½ an inch, and I will never go brunette, because the drama for him is too much. Because I text him, I'm like, oh, I like my hair.
Like the end of his life.
Yeah, he's like, oh, really?
I've been there.
But I will go to him and I'll go, it's too ash. He's like, your hair's not ash. I'm like, I need more yellow. And he goes, do you mean golden?
Yeah.
And I'll go, no, I mean, I want yellow. I want like Carrie Bradshaw, the bit down the front that's yellow. And I'll show him a picture and he'll go, right, she's totally a different skin tone to you, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, I want yellow. And then I see this.
Sorry.
Oh God, so talk to us about these. I'm very excited. This is, I think, might be my favourite thing because this is like proper, you feel like you've got some control over your colour. Shade shots. That's me, people. Hang on, let me just be very YouTubey about it.
So, again, fascinating feedback from
psycho people like me.
No, like, you know, people that really want great hair colour.
Yeah.
Was, you know, I colour my hair, and then 2 weeks after I've coloured my hair, if I'm brunette, it goes orange.
Yeah.
Or it goes red, or it goes green. Or if people are blonde, it's like it's gone dull, it's lifeless, it's gone brassy. But of course, this group of people, I guess, had never experienced having a gloss in a salon. Mm-hmm. So I tried to figure out a way that you could deliver a colour refresh that was like an at-home gloss.
Yeah.
So,
how often would you recommend using them?
I mean, look, most people know how often their hair fades. Mm-hmm. I would think in the first 2 weeks of colouring your hair, you probably don't need to use it.
Yeah, of course.
And then week 3, week 4, week 5, I'd probably do a gloss once a week. So you basically mix equal amounts of the everything mask. So it's a treatment colour.
Yeah.
And then you mix in the shade shot.
So you don't use that neat?
No. Well, I mean, look.
You know people are going to use it neat.
If you use it neat, you just get a much stronger effect.
Okay, I won't use it neat.
Yeah, I don't want you to have a tinge of the Mrs. Slocums.
Mrs. Slocum is what I called my first car. Mrs. Slocum.
So there are 2 for brunettes.
All the Americans are going,
what?
God, who's Mrs. Slocum? I put a picture on my blog.
Two shade shots of brunette. Mm-hmm. One is Cool Me Down, so anti-orange, anti-red, slightly grey-blue background to neutralise any unwanted tones. And then Warm Me Up, a beautiful, rich, chocolatey brunette to add like kind of richness to brunette hair that really fades in a way that looks like washed out and tired and a bit damaged looking. And then there are 2 for blondes. Keep Me Cool, violet kind of opaline shade to neutralise any brassiness, tarnishing, any yellow, and then Give Me Sun to add that kind of vanilla-y butteriness to blondes when they fade too grey or too white.
Fade to grey, cue Sun. And now, okay, so let's cut to the chase. When's it on sale?
It is on sale on the 5th of February.
So if I'll put this up on the 5th, so let's just say today. It's on sale today, people. Where is it on sale?
It's going to be in Boots.
In Boots in the UK.
And then everything's available from joshwoodcolour.com.
Oh my God, I'm so excited for you. Well done.
Thank you.
I'm like genuinely excited, and hair isn't like that big area that I spend a lot of time because I just go and I get my hair done.
Yeah.
And then I bitch and moan if I don't like it. But in terms of finding something exciting, it's been a while before you've been, you know, especially with colour.
Yeah.
Because like you say, you're either in the Isle of Death.
Yeah. Or you're in a salon chair.
Or you're in a salon chair. So it's nice to have options for in between. And I'm obviously going to steal all the brunette stuff and send it to you, Mum. Don't worry. So we will stay tuned, but you can stop here if you don't want to see the Twitter Q&A. And if you do, stay tuned. But thank you so much.
Thank you, Caroline. I really appreciate it.
I'm so happy for you.
I'm excited.